Barb.
I am now.
Hi, Emma.
Hi.
I want to get your thoughts just on what you saw from Emily Sams this whole week. What you saw from her tonight, armband, goal, assist, lead pass in on the first two goals.
I said at the beginning that leadership shows up in many different ways. With Trinity, someone who's shows by actions. Claire, I've said already, is a future captain in the making. I think Emily Sams, without question, leads by example with combination of her behaviours, not just in terms of being competitive, but the standards she holds for herself. She's a great teammate, very thoughtful and caring and kind. And I tell her a lot. She reminds me of Emily Sonnet in terms of, she hasn't got a lot of caps for us, and but she's always ready. She values training. She puts the team first, and she goes about that as a quiet steward in the programme. And she certainly had some of the most experience of any player that was out there, and she was deserving of that. Yeah. She's been with us since the Olympics, and learning how to play that way does take a little bit of time. She understands the things that we're asking from our players. And like I said, I think there's a quiet leadership to her. I'm excited for her. She's moved to Angel City. I think that will push her. I think she needs to go another level if she's going to kick on. And I think the move has come at the right time for her. So I'm looking forward to seeing her play this season in the NWSL.
Keep in mind, Emily Sams won an Olympic gold medal before she earned her first cap. It was quite a story. On the end.
Hi, Emma. Congrats on a fairly successful opening to 2026. With the roster having maybe the less capped players, like less experienced players, you reached out to others to lean on for leadership or task them with more leadership roles. Does it feel like, I guess as far as instant reaction, does it feel like this camp maybe sort of has provided a spark for what you have mapped out in 2026?
I think this has certainly opened up the year with what we've identified as the key themes to take us through to qualification. I think this camp has given us the reference points to be able to say, those are the things we need to add to go to the next level. These are the things we're looking for. And for the players that come back in for She Believes, it will be really clear what that looks like. So we have the chance to play that out. But it also is an opportunity, whether there's players that are on the cusp in that pool for 27, they've shown not only are they competing, but by sometimes not having all that experience in front of them, they're getting the opportunity they might not have ordinarily got. So while we want to provide high support, there is a high challenge environment. Like, the realities are, to cut it at the very top, we can give you all the support to do it, but you've got to perform. That's the realities of it. And I think in both games, the team, regardless of its inexperience as a collective, regardless of the connections that are there because they haven't played together before, I think we showed a lot of maturity in the performance, and that's all I can ask from them. They always do me proud, but I'm impressed by everybody's approach. But I think it also is an example of why the under-23 program works, because if you're Jordan Bugg, you're Riley Jackson, Maddie Darlene, Jameis Joseph, for example, can just slot in. You understand the way we want to play because Heather and her team are doing some of that groundwork, so it's seamless to transition. That was the aim of our under-23 program, and I think it's paying dividends.
I owe one to Jim Alexander, so we'll go online. Go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Aaron. First of all, Emma, I have a product for you to show. It's called Boldify for Harry for his hair.
Will you say that again? You have a product? Boldify.
Yes, to show you. Last press conference, you were looking for a hair
Yes.
product.
Where am I
This is it.
looking?
It's called Boldify. It's like a hair powder. It is amazing. It will give him that look for your son.
You know what? The first thing Harry said to me when I got off the field was, "Mum, did you notice my hair looked different?" Which of course I did, because texture powder is the in thing. And thank you to Zach, right? Yesterday, see, I'm good with names. Because I went back and I said, "Hey, listen, they've got some texture powder for you, or some recommendations here in Santa Barbara." He was far more excited at that than he was the Star Wars toy that I gave him. It's all about looking good, right,
It's
son?
Boldify. So if you need,
All right, Jim, do you actually have a question or no?
yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
So I was going to ask about Mallory Swanson. What sort of outlook for her? Do you expect her to be joining in the next couple of months on a team, and sort of do you have plans for her as sort of the, in the main focal point of the team going forward, even though she's been out for a long time?
The short answer to that is no. I don't expect Mallory Swanson back with the squad for the next camp. I think that's probably the quickest answer I can give to that. She'll return when she's ready, and that's not yet.
Anything else for Emma in here? Go ahead. And then we'll go to the back.
Harder Stadium has a long history of sellouts at the college level. Sellout tonight. Just kind of what were your thoughts on the energy, atmosphere of the fans here in Santa Barbara?
Well, first of all, I said to the players in the locker room, let's go out there and lift the roof. And then I came out and realised it didn't have a roof. But as Trin reminded me, doesn't need a roof to lift something. She's quite right. But I wanted the team to give a performance that would keep the crowd engaged, but also know that they're going to bring the energy, so let's keep up with them. That included the Mexican waves that went on. I'm delighted the goal wasn't ripped out of the end line and taken to the beach. But I took a photo of that in the locker room because that's probably my favourite memory and my favourite story so far.
In the back there.
Hi, I'm Hiro Panchal with KCSB Sports. Both Bethune and Joseph scored their first international goals tonight. What did those moments say about their readiness for this level, and how have you seen their growth throughout camp translate into performances like these?
I've been impressed with both of them. I think Jamise, I've spoken about with her that I think we do need to develop more options in the 9. I think we got a lot of wide options, and I don't know long term which position she'll compete in, but I absolutely wanted to see her in the 9. I thought she impressed the way she stretched. Yes, I think the next level is the decision making, what to do when, but I thought she showed some great moments. I think it's been the best camp I've seen from Croy in terms of her approach, her application. She's clever. She can unlock things. She can see a pass. She can. She's got a bit. Something about her that I know. We've seen so much more in her rookie year, but I can feel that Croy's going to take another level in her game. So how great for us that she only got her first goal, but I think it was an impressive first 45 minutes from her, and really happy with her.
Hi, Emma. You said you wanted a brand new 11. We saw a lot of new faces on the field tonight. Tell me a little bit about what stood out to you most for your starting 11 this evening.
Yeah, brand new. They were fresh out of a packet. For me, it's like consistency in what we're looking for. And the way that we coach the players is that it doesn't matter who's got the crest on, you know what is expected in that role. And so when you have players that don't play a lot of minutes able to deliver a tactical performance like that, I think that's what gives me most joy. I think we always know the US produce players that can win soccer games, maybe a certain way, but I feel like we have learned how to break opponents down in much different ways where the expectation is high again on the team in terms of creating chances, scoring goals. That's the level that this program sets, and I feel like we're returning to a level that was here a while ago.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Zach Flemons for KCSB Sports. You mentioned last press conference after the Paraguay match, that you weren't really impressed with how your attacking was and how like you were creating chances but not finishing them. I thought you did a lot better job. Like you created a lot of chances tonight and you finished them, which is kind of funny because didn't score as much. But I thought that the attacking ability was much better. What can you say about the execution from your attack?
Like I said before, when you're in pre-season, sometimes it takes a little bit of rhythm to get those things right, and sometimes it's just building on connections. And when you're training sort of 5-6 sessions, it takes a little bit of momentum, and I think we found that to execute. But I believe in deliberate practice. I don't look at goals and say, oh, there might be great individual moments. Emma Sears' goal is one example of that, maybe even Trin's, but creating team goals which are in line with the things we're trying to do. I saw them trying to do those things, and I think the first 2 goals came off as a result of things we've been rehearsing and practicing. And that's why I always talk about the coachability piece, because you can coach players and say, these are the things we need to do to go to the next level. Applying that's the real skill, that players can absorb the information you're giving, translate it really quickly and apply it. And that, when my time is done in this job and people ask me what I'm most impressed with, I will always say it's that. The transferable skills the players have, the application of concepts and ideas into reality, and the speed at which they do it.
We're just going to go to Dan, and then we're going to finish appropriately with the place I got my start at the Daily Nexus. So, Dan, go ahead.
Hi, Emma. Can you just maybe go over the arc, for lack of a better word, of Sam Meza from the injury to being part of the fresh out of the packet starting 11 tonight?
I think Sam is an unbelievable student of the game, got a really great growth mindset. She's been working this camp to close her gaps in the areas she wants to, not just to improve her mental performance to what she's doing, but when you watch players who go through their pro journey, whatever, your rookie years, in the second years, I look at Sam and I'm like, oh, she's serious. She's serious about her game. And not that she wasn't before, but I mean in terms of putting it all together, understanding all the other 22 hours, understanding tactics, understanding the opponents, played in all the stadiums, etc., but be able to do it without it being the first time you're doing it. And I feel like she's ready to go up another level with her game. So, really tidy football player, and someone who's going to be really well developed by Laura Harvey. So, looking forward to her year this year.
Last one, go ahead.
Hi, Emma. Hayden Rogers with the Daily Nexus. You mentioned yesterday the importance of getting the framework right before allowing the game to be more fluid. What stood out to you about the way this new group handled the game's rhythm?
I think the first thing was that they got the framework right. Again, so when you get that right, sometimes there's a danger that you first of all keep the game simple to a certain point, and then the second part is maybe not always make the first pass. Like if a player makes a dash into space, it doesn't always mean you have to make that pass. It just means they're opening up a space for someone else. And I was impressed with our ability, with a little bit of coaching, to say, yes, Yasmin Ryan stretching in that area, but if Croy makes a second run, we're going to get goals. And all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, Croy gets a goal. Or the ball from Yasmin Ryan to Jamise, who rolled the defender, came as a result of that same run being made. Might have been by somebody, it might have been by Yas, whomever. So I think it was for the players understanding, oh, this is why, but also this is what we can do as a result of doing those things. I think that light bulb moment for the team was one that gave us more confidence.
Awesome. Thank you, Emma. Thank you, Santa Barbara. I have a feeling U.S. Soccer may be back here in the future. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.